Mozambique, a land of vast savannas, winding rivers, and a coastline stretching along the Indian Ocean, has a history shaped by the meeting of peoples, cultures, and powers. Long before the arrival of Europeans, this region was home to diverse communities with complex social structures, thriving trade networks, and rich cultural traditions. Merchants from the interior exchanged gold, ivory, and other goods with coastal towns, while Swahili and Arab traders navigated the Indian Ocean.
Our strategy must focus on the northern provinces. Yes, and we need local support. I agree. Let's plan the logistics.
Avancem com cuidado! Ali, fogo! Recuar para azar!
Linking Mozambique to far-reaching trade routes that reached the Middle East, India, and beyond. These early connections laid the foundation for centuries of interaction, but they would also foreshadow the dramatic transformations that colonialism would bring. In the late 15th century, Portuguese explorers sailed along the East African coast, searching for new trade opportunities and routes to India. In 1498, Vasco da Gama's voyages opened the region to Portugal's maritime ambitions.
These spices are fresh from the coast.
A good price for this silk?
For you, a fair trade.
I accept.
On the horizon, Portuguese caravels appear, their sails catching the dawn light, embarking on voyages that reshaped the world.
Puxar a vela! Manter firme! Cuidado! Bom trabalho! Mantenha assim!
And over the following decades, forts and trading posts were established along the coast. These early settlements were designed to secure control over
We must secure the trade routes. Our lands provide the goods, but terms must be fair. Agreed. Let us review the proposal.
From these humble beginnings, imperial ambition drives the relentless expansion of coastal settlements and the rise of protective forts.
trade, particularly in gold, ivory, and slaves. Portuguese influence
Here, the forest edge meets cleared plantation land, animated indicator, a stark contrast of growth and loss.
was initially limited to the coast, but over time, their presence extended inland,
3 bolts of cloth, 2 crates of grain. The duty is paid.
often through alliances with some local leaders and conflict with others. The Portuguese imposed their authority unevenly, relying on force, coercion, and local intermediaries to extract resources. Colonialism in Mozambique brought profound and often devastating changes. Land was seized, and local communities were often forced into labor to work on plantations, in mines, or on infrastructure projects, including roads and ports. The introduction of European crops, labor systems, and taxation disrupted traditional economies and social structures. Portuguese policies sought to control the population and consolidate the empire, while missionary activity attempted to reshape cultural and religious life. Yet, despite these pressures, Mozambicans adapted, resisted, and maintained aspects of their identities, blending old traditions with new realities. Throughout the 19th century, resistance to colonial rule persisted. Revolts erupted in response to forced labor, high taxation, and territorial encroachment. Some communities employed guerrilla tactics, while others relied on negotiation or flight. These acts of defiance were often met with brutal retaliation, leaving lasting scars on the population. By the late 19th century, the formalization of colonial borders through agreements with neighboring powers consolidated Portuguese control, but it also intensified local grievances as communities were increasingly separated from ancestral lands or subjected to new forms of administration. The 20th century saw the rise of organized resistance and nationalist movements. Inspired by independent struggles across Africa and fueled by the desire to end decades of oppression, Mozambican leaders began to form political organizations and liberation movements. The most prominent of these was the Frente de Liberación de Mozambique, or FRELIMO, founded in 1962. Over the next decade, Frelimo organized guerrilla campaigns, mobilized local support, and gained international recognition, challenging Portuguese authority and exposing the vulnerabilities of a colonial system that had lasted for nearly 5 centuries. The struggle for independence was long and often violent. Rural communities bore the brunt of the conflict, caught between colonial forces and liberation fighters. Many people were displaced, infrastructure was destroyed, and the social fabric of the country was tested. Yet, through these hardships, the determination of Mozambicans never wavered. Their fight was not only for political freedom, but also for dignity, cultural preservation, and the right to shape their own future.
Today, admit Mozambique's 2-year independence Code.
Finally, in 1975, after years of negotiation and armed struggle, Mozambique achieved independence. The departure of the Portuguese marked a moment of hope and renewal, but it also presented immense challenges. Colonial legacies, unequal land distribution, economic dependence on former colonial structures, and social inequalities remained deeply embedded in Mozambican society. The new government faced the daunting task of rebuilding a nation, establishing institutions, and addressing the needs of a population shaped by centuries of foreign rule. Colonialism in Mozambique was not merely a historical episode. It was a force that reshaped the landscape, the economy, and the lives of millions. Its impacts can still be seen today in social structures, economic patterns, and cultural identities. Yet the story of Mozambique is also one of resilience, courage, and creativity. Communities that survived exploitation and violence adapted, preserved their heritage, and forged new paths for the future. Understanding this history is essential, for it provides context for Mozambique's contemporary challenges and achievements. It reveals how global forces of empire and trade intersected with local cultures, producing both suffering and resistance. It shows how ordinary people, often overlooked in grand historical narratives, shaped their destinies in the face of profound adversity. And it reminds us that history is never static. It continues to inform the present and inspire the future. Mozambique's journey through colonialism and towards independence is a testament to the endurance of human spirit and the pursuit of justice. From the first interactions with Portuguese explorers to the liberation struggle of the 20th century, the country's history is a tapestry of struggle, survival, and transformation. Today, as Mozambique continues to build its future, the echoes of its past remind us that freedom and sovereignty are hard-won and precious, and that understanding history is key to appreciating the strength and resilience of its people.